Hey, this is Will Knight, and we are back with another podcast. And today we are at the Barrel Club. What is the Barrel Club, you ask? It is a restaurant, it's a whiskey, and a bar. And they have some good stuff here. Today, our guest he's not only our guest, but he's also our co-host. And
Chris Schnepp.
Chris, how's it going today?
Oh, it's going fantastic. Best day of my life.
Exactly. So what is the Barrel Club?
What is the Barrel Club? Well, it's a lot of different things to a lot of different people. On the one hand, we're a restaurant, we're a bar, we're a lounge, we're a place to come where you can get fantastic food and fantastic service without it having to be a special occasion.
And I agree with all those because I am a member here. So how does the Barrel Club choose this whiskey it serves?
How do we choose our whiskeys?
Yeah.
Okay, that is a loaded question.
It is.
Because we choose whiskeys in 3 different categories.
Okay.
So we have the whiskeys that are our own private label. For those are hand selected by me actually. I get to go on. I get to travel around to different distilleries and find barrels that are the right age, are the right mash bill, are that have been left alone long enough. They've gotten ready, and those we get to bring back. Those we get to have shipped over to our bottling plant and made available to our members. So you've sampled 1 or 2 of those bottles, I believe. Let's hear. But past that, we have the bottles that you're going to see on our shelves. Any bottle that's on our shelf, you have to see it there for one of 3 reasons. It has to exist because either A, what story does it have to tell?
Okay.
Is it going to be a good examination? Is it going to be a good interpretation of that particular type of whiskey? And it's got to be different than the one sitting next to it. If it doesn't fit those 3, then it doesn't have any space on our shelf. And then, of course, there's the third one, which is the top secret one, which is my private cabinet, which I keep in the back. And those are the whiskeys that I keep for our unicorn hunters.
Okay.
These are the people who are chasing after the hard-to-find whiskeys that you don't normally get your hands on. So if in case they ever want to be able to say, I've never been able to taste this, we can say, that's okay. We got you.
Yes. So tell us, I know you have worked in the restaurant and the bar industry for a long time. What is some of the guest experience or unique offerings here at the Barrel Club? I know, for instance, I, with a group of people, have a barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell me about that? Tell our audience about that.
Okay, so the private barrel experience, and that's exactly what it is. So the private barrel experience is it's very personalized because we get everything from the wood variety that the barrel is going to be made out of, to the level of the char, to the type of seasoning, to the mash bill of the whiskey that's inside of it. And then because we use a smaller barrel than you'd find in usual production, the aging process is actually sped up a little bit. So what you're doing is you're in fact creating something that's going to be as unique as a fingerprint to you. It can't be reproduced, and there's no fast way to do it. That's one of the beautiful things about whiskey. Whiskey is slow. It can't be rushed. That's why you have so many people who they want to make whiskey. They want to have a distillery. But when you find out it's going to take 4 to 8 years until you can even put your first bottle out, you go, maybe I'll do something else.
Right. So can guests get their own barrel here?
Yes, and like I was saying, it's one of the most personal things we do. The guests will actually work with us. You pick the barrel, that we design it to fit your palate, and then we're going to guide you through the aging, the proofing, and then we want it to become not just a whiskey, not just something that you bought, but something that that actually grew with you to fit your to fit your particular palate. And we do that fairly well, I believe.
Okay. Can what does guests think about the whiskey barrel?
What do guests think of their whiskey barrel?
Yeah.
So you have two ways of looking at that. You have the guests themselves, which they come in, they have their whiskey barrel brought down, they can have it, they have it served to them table side, and that is a lot like the experience that we were just discussing.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the absolute flex of being able to present it to people when they come in for their first time. A lot of people have had bottle service. This is barrel service. When you see an actual barrel being set down at your table, and all of a sudden you're having a setup for an old-fashioned or a Manhattan being brought to you, every table in the building is now looking at you.
Yeah.
It's like when you suddenly get that, it's like when it's your birthday and they bring out a cake with a candle on it, people's attention immediately shoots and they go, wait a minute, who is that?
Right. It's like when somebody famous walk in the door, all the heads turn.
Exactly. They go like, why does this person have an entire barrel of liquor on their table? And that's not, of course, to say that we don't, safeguard against overconsumption, but it is to say that we do, that we do want you to be able to experience it fully.
Okay. All right. Has the Barrel Club enhanced does the whiskey barrel enhance the Barrel Club restaurant?
So, are you asking, does the private barrel program enhance the restaurant itself?
Yes.
Kind of a trick question there, because on the one hand, when you are a private barrel owner, you tend to want to come and check in on your baby to see how it's progressing, what it's like, what it's tasting like, make sure that everything is there. And while you're there, I'm sure you might want to get something to eat since you already made the trip out. So in that end, I guess the argument could be, oh, it increases your sales. Not really, because we're not here. It's not here to do that. It's here so it's here for people who appreciate whiskey. As far as the restaurant is concerned, we try to incorporate whiskey into some of our dishes, whether it's through glazes, sauces, things of that nature. Whether we dry age steak and have it sprayed down with one of our house bourbons, whatever the case might be, we want to do that. But really, you're comparing apples to oranges there.
Okay. How does you educate the guests about whiskey without making it intimidating? I know, sometimes every month you have a whiskey club. How do you educate guests about whiskey without making them more intimidated about drinking whiskey or trying it out for the first time?
That's a loaded question. So the first step in that is you have to remove the fear. We all remember the first time that we took a sip of whiskey, probably from your parents' liquor cabinet.
Mine was beer. Mine was beer. It was Schlitz.
And there was a face that you made.
Yes.
There was usually a gigantic exhale.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything realistically. No one should ever feel dumb for not knowing the difference between a rye and a bourbon. You keep it conversational. You don't keep it academic. You should be describing your flavors not in the way where I always make, whenever we do our tastings and if I'm hosting them, I'll usually say something, I am the resident whiskey nerd, which is a tongue-in-cheek joke because I had to go through a lot of training and had to get a lot of certifications in order to get to the point where I am. But realistically, the best way that you can describe whiskey is the way that it's going to make sense to the person you're talking to. So you could say something like, "Ooh, this really wakes up your palate," or "Ooh, this is a spicy, this was got some spice to it." We're not necessarily here to talk about the mouthfeel, the retro hail. We're not going to talk about like, oh, you can get the, like, are you getting the baking spice notes mid-palate, but are you getting, we can do that. But if somebody's new, why would you use insider jargon to describe something when somebody's new to it? Instead, let's talk about how smooth of the whiskey that it's going to start. Different ways that you can taste a whiskey so it's not going to shock your palate. There's like, people have that initial fear, they're gun shy. And they did, like, that's that first sip. They take it and they go, and they're like, they're used to taking it as a shot. Don't take it as a shot. Take it as a sip. Take it with a little bit of water, dilute the alcohol down a little bit. Maybe spend a little extra time smelling it. Keep it in, don't just swallow it right away. Keep it in your mouth. Let your saliva glands actually produce and water it down for yourself. Get it to the point where it is most palatable for you. Because there's a world of flavor inside of every single sip of whiskey. And that's one of the beautiful things about whiskey. Whiskey is one of the few things that rewards curiosity. I'm curious what that bottle tastes like. And then you take the time to taste it properly, and you will find something new every time.
So we're going to go to a story, but I have one more question before we go to a story time.
Okay.
Can you share a moment or memorable moment when a guest discovered a new favorite whiskey?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. See, the problem is I work in a whiskey restaurant, which means I see this literally every single day. So there's always times where you're going to have the people who ask the common questions. What's the smoothest whiskey? Well, that's subjective. What is the best whiskey? Well, that's the most subjective question in the world. Some people swear by cask strength bourbons, other people like heavily peated scotches. Some people like heavy rye, some people like light Irish. It's really going to be in the eye of the beholder. And what we beholding in this case is going to be the type of whiskey that we're trying to match to you. Now, if we're doing our job right and we're asking the right questions, you're answering the right questions, that's when it all clicks, and that's when it becomes a memorable moment. Because that's when I love nothing more than if you come in and you say, listen, it's been a week, it's been rough. Hey, Chris, can you just bring me a pour of something that I'm looking for X, Y, and Z? And I'm go, okay, I think we got you. I'm going to head over there. I'm going to bring you back a pour, and then I'll come back 5-10 minutes later, and you're sitting there looking at your glass like you're still nosing it, you're still whatever, like it just told you a secret. When you hear something like that, or you see something like that, you know you did your job right, because there's so many bottles that we've all walked past. You've seen them in liquor stores, you've seen them in magazines, you've walked past them too many times. But if you had just stopped, like I said before, whiskey rewards curiosity. If you had just stopped, grabbed that bottle, took it home with you, you might have been pretty well surprised. Okay.
So do you believe in drinking or opening up a good whiskey on a bad day?
I believe that we associate that a good whiskey can elevate a day. A good whiskey but here's the catch-22. Human beings, we associate taste and smell to memory. You can have something terrible happen to you and you think, I'm gonna have a great whiskey to help cushion the blow. And then all of a sudden you remember and you associate that bad memory with that fantastic whiskey. So now the next time you reach for that whiskey, you remember the bad day. It really is something where what I usually will say to people is have the whiskey that's your everyday, and I'm not saying drink every day. I'm saying have an everyday pour. So, for example, I'm going to throw out an example for any whiskey nerds in your audience that come at me if you want to. I'll say Wild Turkey 101. The reason why I say it is it's cheap, it's easy to come by, and it punches above its weight class. If that is your daily, I'm not even thinking about it, I'm just going to put this in my glass and I'm going to drink it, fantastic, great. You're not going to associate it with one thing or another. Now, if something good is happening, something great is happening, like we forget that one of the reasons why we toast is so we can commemorate the moments with those flavors, with those tastes. We mix the whole thing together. One lifts the other. We all have a food or a drink or something that we had from our childhoods that we do not like, but we still eat every year, especially around the holiday season, because we remember so many great memories because of it. Like my mother used to make a pecan pie that is god awful.
Spinach casserole.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'd kill to get a slice of that pie.
Yeah.
But it's terrible. Oh God, I have a childhood where with a hatred, but like you love it now.
Yeah, interesting. So we're going to take a little break and we're going to go to a story. A story that you told me a long time ago when I first became a member.
I think I know where this is going.
Is it okay to share the story?
Oh, by all means.
Top shelf, had to get a ladder in your house. Brother-in-law came over. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us that story?
Okay. So the story in question is, so one of the wonderful things where so my bride allowed me the joy of being able to have a whiskey wall in my house. So, which was a wonderful thing, and it was in our living room. It was nice. It was lit. It was taller than she was, which was a good thing. And my golden rule is this: when a whiskey enters my house, one of the first things that happens, unless I have duplicates of it, is that bottle is cracked open, and I get a taste out of it. I don't believe in hanging onto bottles for the collectible nature of it. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. They're designed to be shared, and let's share them.
Right.
That being said, I don't want people getting at like everything just because it's Tuesday. So I was gone. I was at work. I was here. And my lovely bride had some friends and family over, and she had just gone, oh, have anything that you want. He doesn't care. So they didn't care. They just knew top shelf is top shelf.
Right.
So they busted out the step ladder. They climbed right on up to the top. Let's see here, and they killed off a bottle of Pappy 15. They killed off a bottle of a bottle of Magnus Cigar Blend. They killed off about $1,200 to $1,300 in MSRP valued liquor. If it was not MSRP valued, in excess of $10,000.
Oh my God.
And when I got home, they were so happy to see me. They just loved it. They were just like, oh, hey, how you guys doing? I'm just like, oh, well, that's new. And I was speechless. I couldn't bring myself to be to do anything about it. But it was one of those moments that really tested my marriage.
Yeah. And they put Coke in it.
And yep. There was and I can't, if memory serves, there was cans of Red Bull up there. I don't know if they were doing Pappy Bombs. I don't know what they were doing, but I just know that from everything that I was seeing, they just mixed everything and went to town. They didn't know any different.
And that's something that you do not do. True whiskey drinkers do not mix Coke or Red Bull with a good whiskey.
Well, okay, so here's a side note on this one, because this is actually a question that I've been asked before.
Okay.
You see somebody who you go out to a bar or restaurant or whatever, and you're with somebody and they order let's just say they ordered the most expensive whiskey on the menu with Red Bull as a shot. They wanted to do they wanted to do a Pappy Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
On the one hand, the inner snob inside of me says, "Are you kidding me? I want to I don't have enough hands to slap you. Like there's not enough middle fingers on my hand at the end of my fists. What are you doing?" And the other part of me says, "You have the money to be just blowing it on bombs? I'm hanging out with you all night, cowboy. I want to see what's going on. Let's get out there. Let's get after it." But it's but again, it's a dealer's choice, because the best way to drink whiskey is the way that makes you happiest. It's not pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty to it. And it's one of the reasons why we used it to model this restaurant. Because the restaurant and whiskey share some things in common. Whiskey it's hyped, but not loudly. Whiskey, when it first hit the American scene, so America is 200 and some odd years old, and the oldest distillery is 200 and some odd years old. Like, we hit the ground running here. We never have to you don't see giant commercials saying, "Oh, this whiskey, this whiskey, this whiskey." It doesn't have to. It's there. It was cool then, it's cool now, it's going to be cool 200 years in the future, until we can get whiskey in pill form. I'm still rooting for that. But because of that, you don't have to be, you can take the time, you can slow down. You can slow down without being old about it. And that's a beautiful thing, and that's one of the things that we model our restaurant after. Like, we take the time with the food, we take the time with the service. We make sure that we take the time to give you not just a meal, but an experience. And any of our diners would be able to agree with that, I believe.
What role does storytelling play in experiencing whiskeys at the Barrel Club during the tastings?
Oh. So, whiskey is storytelling because it is the bridge between the liquid and the memory. It's very easy to remember. If I pull out a bottle right now and I say, this bottle right here, this has a 75% corn on the mash bill. It's got 12% rye. It's got so on and so forth. It's 104 ABV. That's wonderful. You've forgotten it as soon as I've said it, though. But if I were to tell you, so the man who first created this, he lived in this town. He only had one leg. He had to hop around everywhere. He had and then but he also developed diabetes and he lost one foot too. So he really just had a stump. And all of a sudden you're going, what the heck? You're going to remember everything about that whiskey at that point because there was this story involved. The stories if you look at any worthwhile whiskey, and even a lot of them that aren't, they all have stories involved with them. I don't care if it's Glenfiddich, I don't care if it's Weller, I don't care if it is Jack Daniels, I don't care, whatever it is, there's so much blood, sweat, and tears goes into creating these things that the stories behind them are sometimes fantastic.
Yeah.
And the beauty part is because some of these stories have been milling, and they've been going for so long before you had reputable ways of keeping track, they kind of became urban legends. And because of those legends, there's no way to check the fact. And that produces what I like to call it's the Liberty Valance effect.
Mm-hmm.
When the legend becomes fact, you print the legend. You have no way of knowing that it's true, but you have no way of knowing that it's a lie now, do you?
No, you don't.
So at that point, let's just print the lie and see what happens.
You know what's interesting? I went to Kentucky and we visited Uncle Nearest.
Okay.
And I want to know the story. I'm like, not these, I want to know the original story behind Jack Daniels and Uncle Nearest.
Okay. Now, Uncle Nearest, isn't that Tennessee, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, well, it may be Tennessee, but there's a distillery in Kentucky, I think.
Okay. I see. So the Uncle Nearest Distillery, which produces some absolutely fantastic stuff, and also can sport, I believe, the world's largest bar. When you've been in that distillery, it wraps around the entire inside of that building. So it's actually the story of Nathaniel Green. Now, so many moons ago, Nathaniel Green was working. He was he was a slave, but one of the things that he was able to do is he was able to make this fantastically smooth and delicious whiskey, which he was used to make. And every day you'd see him, and he was and if all the stories are to be believed, bear in mind everything I say, I wasn't there. So I'm going by the stories.
Right, yeah. And you're right, it is in Tennessee. You're right.
So if the stories are to be believed, he was a very happy man. Like, you'd hear him singing songs, and he would be telling stories, and he'd have a big smile on his face. Now, there was this little boy named John, and John would come over, and he would sit there and just sit at his feet while he was sitting there carrying bags worth of grains, and while he was sitting there distilling everything, and he was just learning literally at his feet. And when he became old enough, he said, I'm going to go and I'm going to sell this whiskey. And he went out into the world, and he started selling this whiskey. Well, when you have a great product and you happen to also know a lot about it, the work's doing itself for you.
Right.
So he becomes pretty affluent. He becomes pretty well-to-do from everything that from all the sales he's generating. He comes back, and he's able to say, listen, I want to do a few things here. Thing number one, I'm buying your freedom. Thing number two, I want you to come and be a part of, I want you to be my head distiller, which I believe he passed on to his son. But because of that, now John, whose last name was Daniels, wasn't known as John. He was because they shortened it and they anglicized it to Jack.
Yes.
And this was
It's
Jack.
a Southern thing.
Yep. So this became Jack Daniels. So the very first Jack Daniels was Nathaniel Green's recipe. And the thing that made it different is one of the things that now categorizes all of Tennessee whiskey, and that is this thing that he was doing called the Lincoln County process. The village he was born in used it to purify drinking water. It's a negative form of charcoal filtration. And what they would do is they ran the whiskey through this, and it would actually take some of the flavor away, but it produced such a clean variation that people would prefer it hands down because it gave you such a clean taste with very little congeners, very little negative minerality, things of that nature. So it was absolutely fantastic, and they wound up using that for, I don't know, until about 35, 40 years ago, when we had when evidence resurfaced, and then Uncle Nearest started to get, which is the name that Nathaniel Green was known by, got to finally start getting his due. And the beautiful part about this, and the part that gets me a little bit warm in the chest, is since then, the young lady who right now I am blanking on her name, and it will come to me momentarily. The lady who owns the distillery, a direct descendant of Nathaniel Green. I want to say Edith, but I know that's not correct. She has become one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the country. She has been she has expanded upon this multiple times. They recently purchased, I want to say it was an additional 400 acres of distillation land.
Yes.
Just to build up more rick houses. It has been one of the fastest growing whiskeys in American history. And it all blew up from that one point, from that one story. And the thing is, you hear somebody tell a story like this, kind of makes you want a taste of it, doesn't it?
Oh my God, yes. That actually, the first time I tasted Uncle Nearest was here at the Barrel Club.
Really?
Yeah. And it was because of that story that it's actually one of my favorite whiskeys now.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I say, which expression?
The The original, I think it's 17. I don't know which one.
Is it the?
I know when I see the bottle.
The red, the black.
The black.
1856.
1856, yeah. Yeah.
Why do I remember all these things?
You're a whiskey connoisseur.
Oh, Lordy.
So how does the whiskey, so how do whiskey flights help guests explore flavors? And what's your advice to someone trying their first flight? I know their flight, not their first whiskey, but their first flight.
Their first flight. Flights, by and large, and we here at the Barrel Club, we do flights for cocktails. We do them for whiskeys. We love flights because flights give people permission to compare without commitment. When you're getting a sample flight, you are being able to say, okay, so I want to try a high-proofed bourbon, a medium-proofed bourbon, and a low-proofed bourbon. Or I'm going to try a Scotch from Speyside, from Islay, and from the Highlands. I want to see what the differences are and begin to zero in what I like, because we're giving you something that has tens of thousands of options. No one of them is wrong, but it's kind of like saying, well, what are you in the mood for if I give you all these options? If you've never had any of it, how do you know? You can't make an informed choice. That's one of the reasons why I love flights, because it lets you begin the process of narrowing that down. Now, in regards to if I'm trying to, you're asking me like if I'm trying to zero in on a particular, like a particular target, like somebody's brand spanking new and asking an opinion?
No. So when I get this question from is you do the Barrel Club does these tastings every month.
Yes.
And some people are new, some people are veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have their own table reserved for them.
That's true.
So that's the purpose of the question. Is like it's across the board.
It's across the board, but the tasting itself is kind of a great equalizer. Some people, like you said, some people are there because they have a very logical, I love whiskey. Why? Because I'm very learned up on it, and because I want to experience as much of it as I can. Some people view it as, hey, I'm going to meet up with some friends of mine. We're going to have some drinks. We're going to attend this thing. We're going to have a good time. Some people are just saying, I'm sober on a Thursday and I want to put a stop to that. All are welcome, because at the end of the day, you're all my friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not like you're all going to come in here, and I have nothing but love for every single one of them. Now, so to choose, which I believe is the question that you're asking, to choose what we're doing. So this is where you have to have a lot of patience, a little bit of knowledge, and you have to actually love it. You do. Because what we're doing is we're trying to showcase either A, things that you could have been drinking this whole time, but haven't because you just didn't know, or maybe it's an emergent brand that you weren't familiar with, or maybe it's just something where you went so far into your drinking career not even aware that this was even an option for you. Or maybe we want to take a distillery that has a great story and we want to showcase that or highlight it. There can be a bunch of different reasons. Sometimes, for example, we did a tasting strictly on overproofed moonshines. It's just because I was just feeling froggy. I'm kidding, but that would be when we did the overproof. That one when we did
the moonshine is actually really good.
No, the moonshine one was fun. Where I was playing with people is when we did the overproofed bourbons. Got it. Because that was a lot of people walked out of that room on a diagonal. Which of course we offered Ubers to them all.
Yes, you did.
But regardless, we choose it because we want to give exposure. Simple as that. Just as you want to, just as we want to expose things to, what's it called, as our guests to as many different options as they have, because this way, the next time that you come in, well, let me ask you a question in return.
Yeah.
Do you feel that because you've attended, how many tastings would you say you've attended?
Oh my God. I think this is my second year of being a member, and I believe maybe second or third year, and I think I attended probably, I would say, 8 or 9 in the 2 years.
Okay.
Because sometimes I'm gone, sometimes I'm not.
That's, okay.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you're not around, you're missed.
Yes.
When you are, so would you say, and you can feel free to answer however you like, because
Yeah.
I'm not trying to guide you into a specific answer. Would you say that your knowledge base has been increased or has stayed the same?
My knowledge base has definitely increased.
Okay. Are you now finding yourself drinking things or presenting yourself with options that you if otherwise would not have been experimenting with?
Yes.
Well, then that's the entire
Yes.
reason why we do it. Because some people, they say, hey, St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Let's get some Irish whiskey. What are we going to get? Jameson. Don't do that. I'm not poo-pooing anybody who drinks Jameson. I'm just saying don't make that be your knee-jerk gut reaction.
Yeah.
Because you could, for the same price point, be getting patties. You could be getting powers. You could be I'm not going to push Tullamore Dew. We're on the south side of Chicago. It does its own pushing on that.
Right.
But you can go for Green Spot, Yellow Spot, Red Breast. You can grab these fantastic whiskeys, and they all still fit the bill. And maybe you just didn't know about them.
Yeah. You know what changed my mind about some of the whiskeys that's been presented during the tasting is Knob Creek and Maker's Mark.
Okay. How
And
so?
so, I've always thought of, like, when I see a bar that has Knob Creek or Maker's Mark, it's kind of like, I hate to say this, but I'm just going to say it. I always thought at the bottom of the barrel. Mm-hmm. But then when you taste it and it's presented to you in a certain way and not as like a high end or middle end, it is what it is. To me, it was just like, it was presented correctly, where now when I go into a bar or airport bar, Knob Creek, Maker's Mark,
See, I love that you're saying that. I like it because it makes me it puts a smile on my face. But you also have to understand, you're talking about you can't immediately poo-poo any whiskey just for the sake of its name, because there's stigma attached to it.
Yes.
There's experience attached to it. So I'm going to use a very cliched one right now. Jim Beam. Everybody, at least most of the people that I know, their parents had that bottle of 80 proof Jim Beam, the white label, sitting in their liquor cabinet, and you stole a swig out of it when you were a kid, and you swore you would never touch that horrible, horrible stuff ever again. And you live by that, and the next thing you know, you're 47 years old, and you're discovering, well, wait, Jim Beam, I swore off all Jim Beam, but wait, Jim Beam also makes Bakers. They also make they make Knob Creek. They make Basil Hayden. They make
Yes.
these fantastic whiskeys.
And that's where I was going next with Basil Hayden. Mm-hmm. Because I see Basil Hayden in the bar, and I see Knob Creek, and I'm like, give me Knob Creek.
I will respectfully say I agree with your choice, and I'm not going to say why.
Yeah.
Because it's I was going to say I actually share that one. I prefer Knob Creek over Basil Hayden, but Basil Hayden is Jim Beam in a tie. It's like it's gussying itself up a little.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, there's no wrong answers. There's no right answers. That's the beauty of it.
That is true. So we're going to wrap this up. We're going to talk about some food here at the Barrel Club, because your menu is very extensive.
Well, thank you. I was going to say Rats, we try to keep it small.
Well, I mean, it is small,
I'm
but I mean,
kidding.
for a restaurant that serves whiskey and do tastings, I find it to be very a really good menu.
Well, that's a wonderful. That's like, so that is. Thank you for the compliment. So when we first set out, we wanted something that was going to be American comfort food, but we could riff on it a little bit. So we can take our influences from Latin cuisine, from European cuisine, from Caribbean, from wherever it is that our chef was feeling, and then we also print our menus every single day. Because if you sit there and so it's funny, somebody will take a menu because some people want a souvenir of a first date or whatever the case might be, and they'll compare it to one when they come back and they go, you have like less than half of the same items on here. It's like, yeah, because we try to change our menu. It evolves constantly, but it evolves in little ways. Maybe we'll change the presentation on something one day. Maybe we take something off and replace it with a different menu item. The goal is every season we try to make sure that we do a significant change.
Well, do not change the fried green tomatoes.
It's that you are preaching to the choir on that one. People get mad at me whenever we try to do something like that. But it's the reason why I love what we set out to do, and the reason why I love what we, knock on wood, will continue to do as long as I have a hand in this place, is we don't take the shortcuts. I mean, one of our most popular items is the roasted Amish chicken. If you've never been here, it is an entire roasted chicken. It is served spitted on in a cast iron dish with carrots and potatoes. The thing has to be brined for at least 24 hours. It has to be cooked in what's called a combi oven, which costs more than my first house did. There's no shortcut to it. So when people show up and they go, "Oh, it's 8 o'clock and you ran out of chickens," yes, we did. We tried to make an educated guess to how many we're going to need, but when it happens, it happens. And that's actually the sign of a good restaurant, because that means you're not sitting on product and we're not just pulling stuff out of a freezer. No, we're preparing our food fresh every single day.
And you're not going to the local grocery store to get the food store to get more chickens.
And you can't. But that's just it. You do with intent. Like if you look at our tables, these aren't that they're not set. There's no salt and pepper shakers on them, because we season the food in advance. We prepare it. We make a composed dish.
And I love that. I love that.
Like, don't get me wrong. We don't have them in a safe in the back that you have no access to. We just want you to taste it first. See how we wanted it. We wanted you to experience it. You want to make some changes? You want to do anything? Of course, we're here for it. But see if we know what we're doing first.
Yes, I love that, because that's what I do when I have a barbecue or people over for dinner. All the salt and pepper shakers go up because I already seasoned it. And I want you to taste it first before you ask.
Yeah. There's actually a psychological condition, the name of it is escaping me at the moment, where people will automatically reach for salt and pepper or whatever seasonings is going on and start seasoning their food before they've even tasted it. And what's funny is, in the restaurant industry, what happens is you have people who will sit and this has happened here, and more recently than I would like to say, somebody gets their food delivered and they start salting it, and then they come and they say, "This is too salty." Like, yeah, because you just covered it in salt.
Without tasting it.
Yes. Did you consider taking a bite first? It's like, and that just begins a whole thing. But it takes all kinds to make the world. So I leave that be.
If everyone brought potato salad to the picnic, it wouldn't be the same.
Exactly.
And that's it for All About Nothing. And we want to thank the Barrel Club for having us at their facility located at
4910 West 111th Street in Oak Lawn.
And you have the tastings. Do you want to say something about the tastings?
Well, we do the tastings a minimum of once a month. I like to throw in some surprises every now and again. Let's see here. So the next one, oddly, as of the time of this recording, is going to be 1 day from now. So, like, I'm getting it right there in time. But yeah, so we try to do them the third Thursday of every month at 6:30. We do them classroom style, so it's not like you just walk into the bar and say, put a mat down with some writing on it. No, we want you to experience it. We want you to have a curated version of it where you can ask questions if you have them. Like, you can hear the explanation, you can hear the stories, you can know the history.
Well, thank you. And we hope to get you some more clients in here. And thank you very much, and I'll see you on Thursday.